What is up, guys? It's Silka, and today I'll be breaking down Bitcoin and Ethereum as well as BNB. So we're gonna take a look at Bitcoin and Ethereum in the smaller time frame, and for BNB I'll do every time frame. So yeah. So for Bitcoin, in my last video I told you guys that this was going to go up and then have a move that will come down as long as this top is not broken. All right, so that's still what I'm looking for, what I'm searching for as a movement. So right now the thing is gonna be, is it going to go up or down from that move that it is making? All right, so let me break down this move, because we have two possibilities. As I said in the last video, this could be right there, the drop, first correction, which is a three-wave correction, the running flat that you can see, then having another drop before going for that up move and then the down move. So this could be something like this. All right, let me remove that. Yeah, something like this. All right, but it can also just go up and make that big running flat first. All right, so usually Bitcoin doesn't do those complex structure where you have a running flat in your B wave, in your correction. So it comes like this, and then you make your bigger correction with all this three wave correction. Bitcoin doesn't usually do that, and that's why I will aim for right now. I'm still in the buy right now, but right now I will most likely aim for that big move and not having a dump and another move. So if this happens, we will break this low one more time, but also break it a second time with the impulse that will be happening. So I'll put those two scenarios right there. So the first one is that we simply go up and then we go down, and the second one is that we go down, break the low one more time, and go up, break those top, and then go down. So I personally think that we're going to go for the blue one, and that's why I won't really talk about this scenario, except that this setup we're getting right there is interesting, and let me talk a little bit more about it. So at first, in my last video, I told you guys that this was going to drop for that running flat right there, for that up move, and then having another push. Now, as you can see, we started to range, and that smelled like this is a correction. So we were waiting for an impulse, but now we've got this correction. So that's the first retracement, that's the correction, and I expect this move to come, break those low before going up, if that's a regular flat. All right, so if this is really a correction, we should see the price come down and break those low before coming up. But there's also a chance that this breaks the low and just downfall and break those low again. And if that's the case, we're gonna go for the bigger move instead and going down. So this would be the impulse for that down move right there, and then this impulse will match this one, and this will be the correction. So I personally think that we're gonna go for that one instead. So this being the correction, this being the first retracement, correction, second retracement, and that's complete the three wave correction for that up move. So I see this move going like this and then going down. So that's my thought about this one. And as you can see in those correction in the top right, that's the regular flat, which is right there. So to see the three wave correction, let me put it cleaner. So as you can see, the retracement, this correction comes back, drop and break those low, and then come back up, and then I see it drop, just something like we've had right there. You see, we're probably in this type of three wave correction. All right, where you get those, you gotta set up, it comes up and then drop somewhere in this zone. So I expect this, the same structure, exactly the same. And then when we will retest the low, some people are asking, is there a way to know where the reversal will happen and not these type of correction? So my guess is that whenever this reversal will happen, you'll see a strong buyback in certain price. So it's impossible to tell right now, but let's say in 14K you have a lot of buy orders and people will and a lot of good news and stuff. I think you guys will see a big impulse, and at the moment you see a big impulse, that's where you need to watch for a big a flag, right? Doesn't need to be big, but the more it's big and it stay above that top, the more it's better. So we're gonna look for that after you get a nice buyback. So this one could have been it if you've got a range, but the fact that it is dropping makes us think that people are not done selling. So that's why this ended up being a three-wave correction for another drop, in my opinion. So whenever you see that big impulse just like this one and a range that stay above, that will be the go. Or even a correction, if that's a clean correction above as well, like something like this, you got a buyback, three-wave correction that was clean, then this is a go, just like this flag. But if you see it give a retracement all the way to the bottom, this is most likely going to be a three-wave correction for that down impulse and not for that up impulse. So that's the difference. We're trying to get a correction for that impulse in order to surf the next wave that will be up in the daily chart. So that's about it for Bitcoin. Nothing has really changed. We need to take care of this move, and even in the daily this looks like a flag, so something coming up and coming down. So yeah, even in the daily it looks like this. Right now we're gonna take a look at Ethereum, and Ethereum is different as well, like I said. Alright, it's gonna be interesting just to keep those analysis right there. I'll look what happened. So yeah, exactly same thing. Nothing has changed for Ethereum. I think this will go up because it didn't break the low. So go up, at least tag this top. If it tags and come back down, we'll wait for a flag for a sell, because this will go back down most likely. If not, we'll see it break out and range above it, and that will be the go for the long, because we're looking for an up move in the 4-hour chart. So we're looking to break these tops. So I see this move coming and break the top, and that's as long as we don't break this low. So there's nothing magic in this. You gotta keep the time frame. You gotta keep in mind the smaller time frame, because we can literally come back, tag the bottom, and go back up. So the condition is, as long as we don't break this low, you should look for buy, but not to buy like simply buy and being brain dead. You need to look for buy setup, so impulses and small correction. And if you don't have that, so if you don't have a setup like this, let's say this impulse, true wave correction, regular flat that you know of, if you don't get those set up, it's not even worth it to try it out. So something like this was a running flat, that's why it came up. So if you don't have those set up, you don't need to try this, as it can literally slowly break this bottom without giving setup. So you can do something like this, do like this, and break this bottom, which will be bad if you get in a trade and it does that. So that's why you need to wait for really actual setup. So for this one, I think this is a flat. So if you took the trade, it will be somewhere in the bottom, and then at the breakout I would take profit and put my break even on, because this will most likely come down, and then repeat the process. You get an impulse correction, you gotta repeat the process, and even if that turns to be a good 3-wave correction, so a big flat for another drop, you still eat that and you will protect yourself from the downfall. So that's really the thing you should care of, because as long as you don't break this low, you're probably gonna see a move that will come and break that top if you get buy setup again. So for Ethereum, let's focus on this one. Alright, but most likely focus on the smaller time frame, because you'll see it from that point. So it's not the big time frame that will let you know about this up move, but most likely the smaller time frame will probably do something like this and then go up. Alright, so we'll wait for that setup. So that's for Ethereum, and now we're gonna take a look at BNB. So this one will be forecast will be kind of short, so I really hope you guys will like it more than those that lasted 30 minutes. So yeah, for BNB, like I said, I don't know if I said it in this channel, but this structure is probably one of the cleanest, because you have your impulse, and you can see regular flat right there. You have your impulse, first retracement, this is your correction, another retracement that came and broke the low. So you broke the low, but you didn't broke the top, and that means that you're most likely in a correction, and it's a regular flat. All right, so at this point you can see the price come up and break those top at any moment, but what we want is actually a buy setup. So this one was clean. This one, you had an impulse right there, you had a flag, and it's in the daily chart. So this one was clean to come. This could have come and broke the top right away, but the Bitcoin drop make it go down. But it doesn't matter, because if this turns out to be a three-wave correction for a new low, so for that impulse three-wave correction and gives that a new low, it will still remains a three-wave correction, and I'll still be waiting for an up move and looking for buy setup. So it doesn't really matter if it goes for a new low, because for that trade, if you took this trade, always if you took this trade, whenever it comes up and break the top, which is what it will happen most of the time, since it's a correction for that up impulse, it will break the top, and you gotta protect yourself at the breakout. So that's why if you didn't take profit or didn't put your break even, that's why you need to, because sometimes it does that, and even sometimes it comes back down and break the low one more time before it go up. So that's why those setup are good to take. That's what I usually take as a setup. Even that one is a daily one for a daily structure, so it could be pretty interesting to take. But always protect yourself at the breakout, because once the top is broken, there is nothing more to say. Either it comes in range, and then you start to go on the for the up move that you're looking for in the daily chart, but sometimes it just reverse like this, and that's the two scenarios. Always whenever you have an impulse and a correction and it breaks the top, always the same thing. Either it come back down and this is all the correction, or it comes up and this is a reversal. So you cannot know unless you see what happened. And for that, for this example, you see there's no range, there's nothing right there, no range. Simply they come back down under that top and start give correction. So at that point, like this one, yeah, like those correction, this is probably a running flat. But at that point, I think that yeah, this one could come and break the low one more time before going up. But if it does break the low, that's where you're gonna buy at least spot, and that's where you're gonna take a look at a buy setup also, because this will still come and break the top. All right, so a quick example of that, because I found the chart. I really thought that BNB broke the top at during one time when I saw the BNB chart on FTX. So I'm not sure if it's still there. I'll take a look at it, but I don't think so. But if that's the case, I can show you what those type of pattern does usually. So I'm not sure if there's FTX. I think they remove it, but basically the chart of FTX came and broke the top straight away. So that was what I was thinking that BNB would do, but actually that was just FTX chart, and it's broken since the broker is broken as well. So at that point, we're gonna take a look at the smaller time frame and see, because for the daily chart, either these come down, break the low one more time, then come up, all right, for the big move, or you'll see that give setup, flag, give setup, and come up until we break the top. But also this turns out to be a bigger correction. So we're gonna take a look at all these scenarios. So let's see. The smaller time frame, what I see is that clearly you have an up move, you have a correction, you have another up move. All right, just like Matic and many more, they had a clean setup, and that was clean to take. Now watch out for this. I think that the running flat could be there, but I'm not really sure about it, since this move is not really corrective. So I would not take it in count. I would take this impulse in count, this correction that came and broke the low, and another impulse. So at right now, since we broke the top and the low, this could be an expanding. All right, but you know that expanding are not the one that happen most likely. So now we're gonna take a look at this move differently. You're gonna see either if it flags or not. If it flags, it's going up and you're gonna forget the expanding. But if it doesn't flag, you gotta keep in mind that this can still be an expanding, and this will come back down. Now, what will tell you if that's an expanding or not? It's the range, and something like this would have been amazing. So you see this range? This range was under that top, so this cancels the running flat. So again, this can happen to Bitcoin and Ethereum. So if you see it come up and range at this point, this can cancel the running flat, and you'll get time to see it because we need a pretty good range in order to see that. But yeah, now we broke the top, so it's not a running flat anymore. It's a three-wave correction that doesn't happen a lot. So I see this move coming down, give a correction, and going down slowly to break the lows. And the reason why is that, first of all, I cannot say that with 100% accuracy, of course, but that's my thought, because I still see this as an expanding. This is to me a great correction, pretty corrective move, and you had two impulses. So the way I go is that I match all these impulses, and you still have this big one to be matched. But also, I expect Bitcoin and Ethereum to go down, and I think BNB will follow them. Whenever this move will be done, I think it will go down. So same thing for Ethereum, and for BNB, same thing. Obviously, I think this will go down. I just have no clue about how high it can reach before going down. But either way, I see this as an expanding, coming back down, and the drop can be brutal. So you can see this drop pretty much, alright? Maybe break those lows again, maybe even break this one. So this could be the setup to for that three-wave correction. So if you had this three-wave correction, that is possible to lead to another impulse down, alright? So this regular flat. And if that's the case, the expanding could be the way to go for that. Breakout. All right. So how I would see this pattern and trade it, I would take it as an expanding, but I would really wait for a setup. So if you have a dump and a flag, this would be perfect, and I would probably take this as a long-term trade, putting a stop loss at the top, take profit at the bottom, and waiting for a setup like this. And this would be risk reward, something like this. All right, this could literally be it. And as long as you see this going up slowly and losing in momentum, this can be it. But I would really wait for a sell setup, because this can still turns out to be the start of the up move, but it doesn't usually do that, but it can still. So as of right now, I see this move going down. So this move being bearish, especially with that correction, I think we're gonna go back down and break those lows. But let me see in the weekly, in the daily, if it looks bullish out of this structure. And yeah, actually this could come up, break those. This could come up and break the top. All right, so I think if you break this top, you will see it most likely range and break the top, because yeah, the regular flat is clean. This was a clean setup. I see this as probably a dump that could reach for the liquidity that people have under that buy setup, and then come back up. It's possible. So I'll keep in mind all these scenarios and wait for the smaller time frame, because this is the one that will tell us what we will go for. So I'll be waiting for a setup for that expanding, but also be waiting for what Bitcoin and Ethereum are planning to do. So that's my thoughts for BNB. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, leave a like and a comment, and I see you in the next one. Peace.